Back to Ottawa now and our live coverage of the royal visit. Charles and Camilla arriving now at a Ukrainian Orthodox Cathedral for several events, including a prayer service. The theme of this is a prayer for peace. Let's go to CTV's Kevin Gallagher. Kevin, I might cut you off if we hear some live sound, but in the meantime, tell our viewers what is going to be happening at the cathedral today. And I wanted to ask you earlier if members of the church were able to attend this special service today.
Oh, Marcia, there will be at least 100 members approximately of the parish and also some other members of the local Ottawa Ukrainian community inside the church for the service. Of course, like you say, it's titled A Prayer for Peace. As you can see, there's Prince Charles and Duchess Camilla right now speaking with the Ukrainian ambassador to Canada as the royal couple is being received here just outside of the Ukrainian Orthodox Cathedral. We're in the west end of Ottawa. You know, this ceremony, of course, there will be, you know, a musical portion. There's certainly some ceremonial portions, but as you mentioned, it really does have to do with a plea to have some type of resolution to the conflict that, of course, has really upended Ukraine and the lives of many Ukrainians. The parishioners here at this church have actually raised quite a bit of money and gotten many donations, not only to help those who are still in Ukraine, but also to help the resettlement efforts of displaced Ukrainians, refugees who have been fleeing that conflict. Many are coming here to Canada. Actually, Prince Charles and Camilla will have an opportunity to meet with a displaced Ukrainian family that has come to Ottawa recently. You know, the husband of that family is still stuck in Ukraine, as so many men, of course, are. They've had to stay. Now we do see Prince Charles and Camilla on their way up the stairs. They will go up those stairs towards the sort of main cathedral. Now, as I was saying, this church has certainly tried to do many things to improve and help the humanitarian situation, to provide aid to those in Ukraine, but also the resettlement here. We will hear, of course, not only the service, which will include the prayer, but then afterwards, the royal couple will go down into the banquet hall here at the Ukrainian Cathedral.
Yeah.
They'll be offered a traditional Ukrainian greeting of bread and salt, but also some of those other meetings will happen, of course, with the displaced family, but also with many of the members of the church here who have tried to do their best to raise money and find donations that they can give to, you know, help the people of Ukraine.
All right,
They'll
so the
also
royals
have their
also,
hand at
Kevin, sorry, I just want to speak to the pictures as well.
Sure.
Hang with me. It looks like a small cathedral, a lovely church, and the royal couple receiving applause as they walked up the stairs and into the church. And as Kevin Gallagher reported, parishioners who normally attend this church are able to be there for this royal visit. Let's pop over to Richard Berthelsen, CTV's royal commentator, with his thoughts on what we're seeing right now. Richard, over to you.
Well, I mean, this is going to be very significant to the Ukrainian community to stand in solidarity with them like this. And of course, the prince has done so also in the United Kingdom, and he's spoken out forcefully about it. And really, he kind of suggested this kind of thing in his speech yesterday when he talked about standing up for democratic rights, standing up for democracies in places in the world where rights and freedoms are threatened. So, you know, this is, again, the power of the institution of having a royal family, having a Prince of Wales, the heir to the throne, kind of doing this, is it really elevates the event, and particularly given the prince's international profile.
now and ever, and unto ages of ages. Amen. Most Holy Trinity, have mercy on us. The Lord cleanse our sins. Master, pardon our iniquities. Holy One, visit and heal us infirmities for your name's sake. Lord, have mercy. Lord, have mercy. Lord, have mercy. Glory be to the Father, and to the Son, and to the Holy Spirit, now and ever, to ages of ages. Amen.
Notre Père qui es aux cieux, que ton nom soit sanctifié, que ton règne vienne, que ta volonté soit faite sur la terre comme au ciel. Donne-nous aujourd'hui notre pain de ce jour. Pardonne-nous nos offenses comme nous pardonnons aussi à tous ceux qui nous ont offensés. Et ne nous soumette pas en la tentation, mais délivre-nous du mal.
Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from the evil one.
For thine is the kingdom, the power, and the glory of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit, now and ever, and unto the ages of ages.
All right, a beautiful choir followed by the Lord's Prayer as we watch the royals now visiting this cathedral in Ottawa. I want to go over to Kevin Gallagher. Kevin, the theme for this, a prayer for peace, also a celebration today at the cathedral of the Platinum Jubilee of the reign of Her Majesty. They are praying for peace in Ukraine as well. We are, of course, following what the royals are up to today. This is the more formal part. Then things loosen up, if you will allow me to put it that way. We're going to see what? Prince Charles making pierogies after this.
Maybe a bit more involved than pulling a pint as they did yesterday in St. John's, Marcia.
Yeah, the dexterity involved in making a pierogi is a bit more.
Exactly. I think I could pour a pint, but I don't know if I can make a pierogi. So certainly that's going to be a bit of a task there. And those pierogies are going to go towards raising money for helping, the humanitarian efforts in Ukraine and raising money for Ukrainians as well. So that's really a lot of the theme here for much of the effort that the parishioners at this church, of course, they're very affected by what's going on in Ukraine. Of course, many have been watching with horror in many ways, and certainly trying to do what they can to help in this situation. And this trip, of course, very important. There's many areas that the Prince and Duchess are trying to fit in today. It's this 1 day in Ottawa and only a 3-day royal visit to mark this Platinum Jubilee for Queen Elizabeth. So certainly it's very meaningful that they've carved out some time in a very busy schedule here today to meet with parishioners, to take part in this service, and to pray for a peaceful resolution to that conflict in Ukraine.
Kevin, thank you so much for that. Stay close. We're going to be coming back to you here on CTV News Channel again as you cover the royals visiting the nation's capital. As we approach the top of the hour, we're keeping, of course, an eye on this cathedral where His Royal Highness and Her Royal Highness are right now. I want to go to CTV's royal commentator, Richard Berthelsen, with some final thoughts this morning as we wrap up this part of the morning. And Richard, if you will, can you talk about the Platinum Jubilee, the fact that this church is celebrating the reign of Her Majesty as well as praying for peace in Ukraine this morning, but also they're, honoring the Queen this morning?
Yeah, I think it's remarkable. I mean, I think we have to remember that for a number of years during the Cold War, many people in countries saw the Queen as a symbol of democracy, a symbol of the rule of law, a symbol of a constitutional society. And that now, of course, is coming back to the fore as we're seeing, a bit of a Cold War descend once again. So it's a really interesting perspective. Again, all that's happened within the reign of Elizabeth II, where we've gone from, really just a very few years after the Second World War, through various conflicts, to a long period of peace, particularly in Europe, to now a situation where we have conflict. So I think it's a very interesting thing that the Eastern European community has always been fairly drawn to the monarchy, both to some extent in Russia and in countries like that, but also in other countries that used to have a monarchy. So I think it's a bit of a play on that as well.